Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unlock Tuesday live stream. We are here every single Tuesday at 2 o'clock Eastern, bringing you all things real estate. So if you don't know me, my name is Jessie Lang, and I have a large rental portfolio, and I teach people how to buy 1 to 3 rentals per month on autopilot. That is kind of my bread and butter. So today we have an awesome topic, and we have an awesome speaker, someone who is actually in our Rentals Made Easy community, who has been an absolute resource for all of our students and the rest of the community. We have Bob Petty. He is with Red One Realty, and we will be talking today about using an investor-friendly agent. So we all know that finding deals today is one of the hardest parts of this entire business, and having an investor who knows what you're looking for, who knows where to find deals, kind of as a partner with you is a fantastic lead source. So it's not always sunshine and rainbows in real estate, as we know, and having a good agent is going to be really the number one key to success. So Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you if you want to do a quick little intro and then kind of let us know about your portfolio and all that.
Well, hey, thanks for having me here. When you asked me, I thought, really, am I good enough? And I started thinking, well, yeah, I've done these things. So somebody told me I still act too humble, and I don't even know what that means. So that makes it more. But I'm always willing to learn and help others in the space, real estate or investment, to make the people in our business better. It makes me stronger too. So I'm a realtor with Red One Realty. And after about 10 years in the business, actually, it was the COVID year where the world was going to shut down. We were all going to die, and we didn't know what's going on. I had my biggest year ever. So near the end of the year, I started thinking, wow, what do I do with all this money? I've always wanted to buy some investment properties. And so I started reaching out to some people that I knew in the real estate space, not really other realtors, but I'd been in long enough that I had a whole bunch of contacts, and started reaching out to them what I need to do. And this is not the purpose of the call, but I realized I didn't need that much money to buy my first property, so I was waiting for nothing. But anyhow, that's really how that got started. And then another piece was triggered as my day job as a realtor. You get 1 or 2 past clients that ghost you, or you showed them a house and then a year later you realize they bought with somebody else. I still like them and send them Christmas cards, and I'm like, screw it. I can flip one property and make 3 times as much as I do helping you with less time. So that's kind of what got me here to investing. And I started thinking, well, if I'm going to do this, I reached out to some people and got some help from others. And I thought, well, I want to be where the investors are. So I would join groups. Maybe it's a virtual group. Maybe it's an online group. Met Jessie at a coin event, and then be on her Unlocked page. And then as we got going, I'm part of her Rentals Made Easy mastermind also, which is another valuable piece. And maybe I wasn't even on the noon call today. I had another appointment, but I hate missing those things because you never know when there's going to get a nugget that I can use right away or the next week. So that's kind of the basics short of what I do and where I'm at. And here I am.
I love it. So you're mostly working on flips. I know you're working on getting a couple rentals as well. But for the most part, you're flipping.
Yep, I'm primary flipping. I am not shying away from rentals. Part of it's finding the right deal that works for me, and maybe I'm more conservative with my numbers than others. I have 2 kids that are 19 and 21, and I am flipping the bill for everything college related that's not covered by grants, loans, or scholarships.
Good
And maybe I should be doing that. I'd had to have more money, but that's where a lot of my extra, there's no extra funds. That's a lot of where that time goes. That's where money goes.
That is such a common reason that people want to get into real estate is, support their children, pay for their college, do all that. So you are literally living so many people's dream out there. And so congrats on that. So let's kind of hop into, I have some questions, but you guys, as you know, this is super interactive. We want to hear from the audience. If you guys are on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, if it's live, if it's replay, wherever you are, go ahead and throw your questions into the comments and we will ask them kind of as we go. But Bob, first and foremost, When I say investor-friendly agent, what is kind of the difference between someone who's investor-friendly and maybe like a more traditional agent? And I know you do both. So what's really the difference in your eyes?
So the short answer is you've got to be flexible and go with the flow and understand that as an investor, properties are going to need work. A traditional agent, you're looking at it to help your client move into it, maybe make the best financial decision for them and their situation. That's not all that far from the investor, but going through a house that somebody's going to buy and they don't have the resources or time, they want to move their family in right away. As an agent, just helping the traditional way to buy a primary residence, I may be more apt to point out things that I think they're going to be concerned about. Now, as an investor agent, I'm going to do the same thing, but we're going to overcome it and realize, you're buying this 50 grand under market, 100 grand under market. These are your scope of work that you got to look at with your contractor. And maybe even at that point, we've just looked at pictures or a drive-by. Everybody that works on my houses, I treat like they are the ones, they are driving the bus. They're the CEO. I need them to do the work really well. I'm never picking on a contractor acting like I see so many people beat up contractors in the retail real estate residential. Like, I can't believe they were a no-show, and we could have that. But if somebody's a no-show, I'm like, I get it. Schedules get busy. Do you still want to come do the job? Unless they ran off with work or money or lied to me. I'm looking at the property like, hey, we know we're going to put money in this. Is this going to be right for you? Versus, hey, your family's going to move in here. A lot of times the traditional agents say a house looks bad just because of the carpet. When you're an investor, we should count on replacing the flooring.
Oh yeah. If you're not replacing the carpet, either you got lucky or you're not doing it right. And so, okay, what I'm kind of hearing is one is more, I don't even want to say like emotional, but if you're living in the home, there is some emotional factor. Whereas if you're working with investors, it may be completely numbers-based decision. So how would you help an investor client maybe through some numbers?
So given what we do and the experience that I have, I got a lot of knowledge where I think the different costs of things could be, so I can help guide that. And I'm going to be off. I'm not the one doing the work, but I can give you an idea. I know a kitchen is this amount, a bathroom is this amount, a roof based on the size is X dollars. Where it really gets tricky is when we need to replace 2 sheets of drywall, do the flooring in the bathroom and the kitchen, keep the cabinets and paint them. Before replacing the cabinets, a lot easier to do than number for painting them. But I can give you kind of a guideline, and I do disclose this is not the exact quote. It could be off, but from my experience, heck, the big things, water in a basement, if it's an investor piece, that's an easy fix. It might be 10 or 15 grand, but is that number going to work there? Water in a basement.
You can build it into your offer.
Yeah, moisture in the basement for your traditional home buyer, they might run away. It can still be fixed, but as investors, we're not running away from the problems. We're going towards them. The emotional pieces out of it. Do the numbers work or not?
Yep, exactly right. And you, as kind of an investor-friendly agent, you have run your own project, so you have that personal experience, whereas someone who strictly is working with, owner occupants may not have. So when you guys out there are looking for your real estate agent, those are the questions you want to be asking. How many projects have you done yourself? What contractors do you use? All that. So, Bob, how much are you able to connect your investors with with a basement company or a GC?
I think it's super easy. Hey, here's the people I've used. Call them, get them out there. And when I say call them and get them out there, these are not people that work out of the big companies with a receptionist that you have to wait. You're probably calling the guy working on the basement. He knows the job. He knows. You could probably send him pictures and they're going to be 80% correct. Nothing replaces meeting the contractor there for anything you do. But my contractors, you're calling the contractor. So with that in mind, there's probably no emergency in I don't know if this is related. There's no emergency in real estate unless you're in the house and it's on fire. How's that? But if you're calling one of my contractors and it's 10 a.m., 2 p.m., they might not answer until they get done with the job. So just you realize they're working. They're going to call you back 5, 6, 7 p.m.
Yeah, exactly right. So it sounds like there's some real benefits to finding an investor-friendly agent who can help you with the numbers and help you with connections and understand that, you're not buying based on emotion. Where would someone find a Bob of their own market?
Look to the people you already know in your network of people. And maybe, I'm not really saying it's your friends that you play euchre with or get together for a cookout. That could be.
That is
but
so Midwest of you.
That's the ones that you're going to start. Hey, I'm doing this. Who do you know? And it could be a realtor they've used in the past that you didn't know, that they didn't know was investor friendly. Talking with a realtor, I'm a fan of not jumping into a space that I don't work. So, like, if somebody needs a commercial real estate agent, I'm not going to try to do it. I'm referring it out. Even when I help agents or help home buyers or investors, I'm not going more than 2 counties away. Well, 1 county away from Franklin. I'll do Franklin and all the counties surrounded. I've helped a couple other investor agents, and we've talked. But when they need something the other end of the state, I don't know that market. I don't have access to anything. I'm not the strong one to look. And I'm going to be honest. I can certainly help them out, but I don't think it's in their best interest to use me if I'm to the other end of the state.
Yeah, John is asking that exact question. So, what submarkets do you cover around Columbus?
If you're looking at the counties, I would do Franklin County and all the counties surrounding.
So, okay, so it's touching Franklin.
Yeah. Now, if there's something barely outside, it's not like a hard stop. I'm like, ooh, I can go there. I'm doing a Zanesville traditional buyer seller right now, and I got to say that's too far for me. Zanesville is a different market here in the traditional real estate, but it depends on where the lead came from. You want me to go to Lima? I'm not your person.
Right. And so why is that? And you kind of already mentioned you may not know that market, but you also mentioned you're going out there. Like, what sort of services are you providing that you would maybe need to be in person? And I'm thinking kind of related to maybe a remote investor who's looking for a real estate partner, a real estate agent partner here local.
So boots on the ground, so to speak, checking in on your property, maybe meeting contractors there, walking it without you, video. There is some time in there, and it's not just the time. I've learned how to leverage my time. It's not lazy. I want to make the best use of my time for everybody. And then also going further away from my home area, I don't have a connection with contractors there. You want somebody local that knows those local people. And I just use Lima as an example. I mean, most contractors, they won't travel that far away either. So that's why I've kind of kept my area, Franklin and surrounding. Not a hard number. I'm not saying I won't go 30 minutes or an hour, but something where I still know the market. Things that I would see that I know about the communities that you see, maybe things that happen in the news. So at least I know that much. I know, what's common in that area. Where's the schools? Where's the shopping centers?
Yeah.
But more, it's the boots on the ground, whether it's myself or referring to contractors locally. I've been really strong in Central Ohio.
Love it. Lizzie's asking a great follow-up question on this is, we talk all the time about boots on the ground, and I always recommend that it's someone who's not your real estate agent. They're not your contractor, because there could be, we're all just human. I'm not saying you personally do this, but we're all human. There could be some conflict of interest where, maybe something's overlooked, or again, not on purpose, but how do you remain unbiased when offering kind of that boots on the ground for people?
Good question. I don't like being a snake working for somebody else and then realize taking it for me. I just want to make observations and recommend, and then you make the decision. If I think, hey, this property could be good for you, you're buying it well under value. I see the ARV is 240. You're buying it at 160. Based on what I know, if you need 60 grand of work, that's not going to know, but it depends on what you want. Everybody has a different need, different property style, whether it's for investor or the retail client. I've sold houses to people that I didn't think they should buy, but you realize that it was exactly what fit them. I really try not to make the decision. I want to give you the info so you can make the decision yourself. And as an investor client, if I'm an investor too, if somebody says, hey, I want to go look at this one, I might say, I've looked at that one already. I've passed, and here's why. Or I'll say, I've looked at that one already. I'm going to make an offer on it. Maybe I shouldn't help. Both of those scenarios have happened.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think, we talk a lot about competition, and people explicitly ask me, Jesse, why are you teaching other people how to buy real estate? And I'm like, because all ships rise. And we actually, Bob and I have gone up against each other on multiple properties in the past, and it happens in our community as well. But we're all super open, super transparent. And I know that's the same thing, same kind of service that you're giving to your clients. So you would never, so Lizzie's saying from personal experience, you know that you're not in it to make a ton of money, that you've advised her to walk away from properties based on numbers, and, you know, don't be stupid. That's a very, very good advice for an investor, is don't be stupid.
Yeah, you got to make the decision that works for you and your numbers. It's hard. It's different when you're an investor, but we still put emotion out there. Sometimes the remote investors, and we've had them in our Rentals Made Easy group, I'm like, they are almost so lucky because they're not going to have the emotional piece of, ooh, the driveway next door doesn't look as good as my driveway. They're just looking at numbers. That's a whole different challenge also, not seeing it. But don't shy away from finding somebody, from being remote in another area, because you're taking the emotion out of it. You're just looking at numbers, and you might have as much success or better.
And that only works when you have a good team, though. So finding an agent that you trust is like really critical in that. Okay, so Bob, a question that I hear all the time inside the community, you know, here in our big group is, well, you know, I just don't want to feel like I'm wasting my agent's time. Maybe you're going to see too many properties, or they feel like they're asking for too much. When is, from an agent's point of view, when is client's request cross the line into being too much?
I would say being too much is just to drive by to check on the property. Just What are you going to do? Just drive by and see if the windows are broke. That's nice to have a local person that can, but that could be too much. We're all going to have risk. I would say invest in your own security. And then if you get an alarm, call the proper people. But I'm not somebody that's going to creep up on somebody breaking in and stealing the refrigerator. Make sure it fits your buy box. Yeah.
Could you imagine you trying to stop a fridge thief?
Yeah, I'm driving on by, and I'm like, I got to call somebody to help. I'm not looking. Make sure it's real estate related, and you have this conversation with your local agent. What is it you do? What does you offer? Well, I'll help you find the properties, and here's the way we can do it. I can go look at the properties. If you're out of state, out of town, I'll meet your contractor there. If you don't have a contractor, I'll happily walk it, take a couple of videos and pictures. I don't know. A lot of wholesalers send us videos. I appreciate that. Part of me almost gets a better look at the pictures. Maybe that's just the way my brain works. I'm not saying one's better than the other. Whatever somebody wants, it's
you can pause and take a look at each system versus someone just,
Yeah.
I find the videos are good. I find the videos are good really just to see how the house is laid out. Outside of that, it's really the pictures are better for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So things that might be too much for a boots on the ground, a local agent to do would be something that's not really agent work. You assume you're going to have a business relationship with this agent. They may or may not get any fee as a traditional agent on that first purchase from a wholesaler. But the value is going to be, I sure hope you work with somebody boots on the ground that doesn't do it for free. Their time is money. They shouldn't be breaking the bank. But for the investor world, I do think there should be a small agreed upon fee. This is a negotiable thing, whatever everybody's happy with.
Yep. And so is there like I hear this mostly from new investors who are worried that they're going to send you to go look at 10 different properties and they're not going to buy one. Is there even if it's someone local, you're still driving out to the property to show it to them. So is there a number, or like, what's the threshold of like, hey, this is too much. You haven't really bought one. And I have a reason I'm asking this.
I don't think it'd be too much if you haven't bought one, if you've looked at the numbers. If you're having me and or contractors or others go look at it first and then you plug that in, I think you've got to look at the numbers. We're going to get pictures first. You're going to know the house is 150. You're going to sell it for 250, and you can get a close idea if it's going to be a small rehab or a big rehab. Well, if you can tell it's going to be a big rehab, and a lot of times there's not 100 grand difference from ARV to purchase. So I just looked at one the other day that they want 145, and my max ARVs are 190. And the pictures is missing some drywall and a kitchen and 2 baths. I'm like, I kind of laughed. I'm like, I can't do this for 55 grand and make money and pay taxes and insurance and interest and close. It's not going to happen. So.
Right. And so the reason I'm asking that is because, you guys, the answer is it's probably a lot higher number than you think it is. I get students saying, oh, well, I've sent them to go see 3, we've met out at 3 properties and I haven't bought one and I feel so bad. That is not, you are so far from the threshold for most agents. Now, I can't speak to all agents, of course, but the ones I know in my community and, that I work with myself and Bob, is like, as long as you're doing your due diligence and there's a chance that you could actually buy this property, then let's go see it.
I would say myself, I've bought 1 out of 10, 12 that I've seen. And I'm dragging contractors out there for that look. But at that point, I know myself, I've looked at the numbers, I put it together, it's worth going. Or if it's the first weekend, the hottest one, and I see there's 17 other people looking at it, and this is from a wholesaler, I'm still going to go through it. I don't know what the other guy's budgets are. Maybe I win it, maybe I don't. And if I don't, it's all knowledge. I've taken that information from that scope of work for the next property. I realize, these types of things can be fixed. You got to look at enough properties to learn the business and to get the scope of work to realize there's no problem that can't be solved with enough resources. Maybe it's time or money.
Yep. And I always say that every single property has a price. It may not be near the asking price, but they all have a price. You can, unless it's underwater, then the price is 0 or you pay me to take, there is a world where it may only be worth 150 and it needs 150. So what can you do about that? But outside of those somewhat rare circumstances, there's a price for every single property out there. And so, if you're in the ballpark, then I say send your agent, send your contractor. So that's good advice. John is asking, would you say that Columbus is currently in a buyer's market? Maybe you could speak to this kind of local and if you know any nationwide numbers.
Our local numbers, we are still, it's a little more buyer's market, but this is changing with pockets. When I say changing, I've noticed a change in like the last 4 to 6 weeks. There are houses that are sitting on the market. And I think that's because, and this is more, isn't the investment piece. So, but it still can be related. It seems like the traditional seller is about a year and a half behind where the local real estate agents know we are. So we are seeing happen what we've been telling sellers are probably from last summer. If you list it too high, you're not going to get enough offers. You're going to take a lower price. You've still got to be, this will help when you're after your repair. You got to be conservative. Don't be aggressive in your listing price. You may get more than your listing price, but don't shoot for the stars out of the gate because then nobody's going to look at it. They think you're bought too much.
Right.
We still are. The numbers say we are have more buyers than sellers right now in the Columbus market.
Cool.
But what I'm actually seeing in a lot of, this is more of the suburban neighborhoods, is they're sitting a little longer. The inner city ones in town, the places with culture and character, it's got to look right and priced right, but those are hard to find because they're not building more there. You're building more in the suburbs.
Yeah. Super helpful. So then I also kind of want to know, everyone is saying, hey, it's so competitive out there, and it definitely is. What are you seeing on the buy side? What are you seeing written into investor offers that are actually helping the offer get accepted?
For the investor offer,
yeah,
I can close in 4 days. That's the number one thing. I don't need any other inspections or appraisals. So if you are investing, get your mind out of traditional financing. Do hard money, private money. Both are doable. Hard money is going to take a little bit out of pocket from you, but you're not losing it. You'll get that back at closing on the sale, assuming everything went well and you got more. I like both. I've used a combination of private. Well, I've actually used a combination of private and hard money on a couple deals, but usually it's all private or all hard money. But yeah, your most competitive thing in the investor world is I can close quickly. I don't need any more inspections, appraisal. We're investing. I see so many times investors say, what do you do if there's mold in the attic? Well,
fix it.
That's all you do. So mold, I'm not a licensed mold person. These guys will say something different. But if you see mold, many times, not always, it could be bigger, but many times it could be fixed with some spray chemical you get at Home Depot or homemade. And if you're having your contractor do it, you're not even in the attic. So,
right. Yeah, exactly right. Again, there's a price for everything. You find an issue with the house, you adjust the price, and you move right on. So fast offers, and the way we make them fast is with hard money, private money. You guys, I've been talking about this for years now. It is my exclusive source of buying deals quick. And so if you don't know hard money and you don't know private money, you have to join a community, because we talk about this all day, every day. And it's the number one, you just heard from Bob, the number one way that investors are getting offers accepted, even in a competitive market. So very cool.
So twice, maybe more than twice, a few times in the current one, the house was offered at a number. Let's say it was 180. I don't remember the exact number. This is the current one I'm working on, and I walked it with my contractor. Scope work was a little higher than I thought, but it wasn't crazy. My comps were different than what the wholesaler was saying. Comps, I can look at them, and I know I'm conservative, but I pushed it even a little bit, and I ended up saying I'd have to buy it about 150 or close to it. And it sat. We didn't do anything for about 8 days. And he called back and says, would 158 do? I said, I could probably do 152. And I didn't want to kill over grand. I bought it for 153 and they wanted 180. Now, that I was fortunate. Nobody else was coming in higher. Sometimes I'm not the winner, and you know what it's like on the other end. You make the offer for the numbers that work for you, especially with the investors, and see if it wins. If I would have gotten too aggressive and said, I'll do, it's emotional, I really want to do this project because cute little street, I'll do 175. As an investor, I would have lost on it because my comps weren't supporting it.
Yeah, exactly right. So I would say, and a good agent will help you with this as well, is don't shy away from making the offer. The worst they can say is no.
Exactly.
Period, flat out. Yeah. So, well, Bob, very cool. I really appreciate it. If you wanted to leave anyone listening with some advice on working with an investor-friendly agent, what would you say?
Realize you're going to be working together as a team. You both have your own strengths, and find somebody that knows things that you don't. I want to make sure you're on the same page, make sure your personalities match and what you want to do, but find somebody that knows something that you don't, so you can put your combination knowledge together and find the right deals.
I love that. Yeah, great advice. Thank you so much for being here. You have been just an absolute treasure to Rentals Made Easy community. I couldn't imagine it without, we call him Lunch Bob because he's going to lunch with someone every day.
Yeah, you got to connect with, that's an old real estate thing, but I eat lunch every day. I'll eat lunch with or without somebody. And that's not even the purpose of this call. Now you see why they call me Lunch Bob. I'm going to eat whether or not I'm going with somebody or not. My wife's a teacher. She's home in the summer. Sometimes I'll do lunch without her. She goes, "You didn't want me?" I'm like, "I didn't want to eat your food." So
yeah, Lunch Bob, he's always got something good, always something good on the plate and something good scheduled. So if you want to share your contact info, just drop it in the comments once we hop off, and it'll go out to everyone. And would love, Megan saying Lunch Bob. He's famous. We also have Eagles Bob, who is obviously from Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. I don't know. Where's the Eagles? I'm not a sports person. So love it. We will share some contact info for you and appreciate your time so much. And you guys, if you are interested in joining our amazing community, Lizzie is going to drop a link to book a call with our team. So it's going to be, with our team, myself, Lizzie, and we'll let you know exactly how it works and how you can kind of connect with all of the same built-in support system, just like we have here. So I will see you guys next week.
Bye-bye. Bye.